Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ticket to Life. Excuse me. Should have cleared my throat before I started that. Anyway, welcome to Ticket to Life. This is Henrie, and thank you for tuning in and listening. I do spell my name Henrie. A lot of people spell it with Y, including friends and family that I have known for many years. It will always be IE, people. But anyway, how is everyone doing? I hope you have been having a fabulous week. Sorry about that, adjusting mic. Yes, I'm apologizing. And that's kind of what we're going to be talking about, people pleasers today. But I just want to let everyone know that I am a very upfront person, and I usually say what's on my mind. And sometimes that can be upsetting to some people. I try to think before I speak, but sometimes I do not. If I have offended anyone before, I thank you for listening and continuing to listen and come back to listen. But I just literally I'm re-recording this podcast. I went back to listen to it, and I know there's several other ones that I get so hyped up, I talk 90 to nothing. I'm sure people were like, what is she on? Major caffeine. No, sometimes I just talk really fast. My daughter and I get into that Gilmore lingo where we're just talking 90 to nothing. And if some of you, the majority of people will know what Gilmore Girls is and how fast they talk, well, that's us. And that's not because of the show. We just are fast talkers. We want to get our say-so in. But anyway, I feel as though the past few podcasts have been a little depressing, which I don't mean to be depressing on this podcast. I am trying to be uplifting and let people know that they aren't alone. But last week we did talk about suicide and depression. And the week before, I think, what did I talk about? Putting me on the spot. That's not too bad. But I do have some great, funny podcasts. But depression is a big deal right now for me. I don't know anyone who has. Well, yes, I do. I do know several people who are on antidepressants. But as far as suicide, I don't know anyone with those intentions, or at least that to my knowledge. But so I'm going to be talking today and try to slow down about people pleasing. Are you a people pleaser? I used to be. I used to try to do whatever, people needed for me to do. Oh, I'm there. I'm there. And I do still, but I do it because I want to. I have a podcast about learn to say no. And I have to refresh my memory sometimes on I cannot do it all. No one can do it all. And it's okay to say no. But do you remember the girl in high school or college, and she had lots of friends, usually guy friends? She was a people pleaser, and you know what I mean. Now, I hope not to hear from anyone from high school and say, well, I think you were a people pleaser too. No, I was not. So anyway, are you always apologizing? Are you one of those? Because I have been guilty of that. My mother-in-law used to tell me and my husband, why are you always saying you're sorry? You say something and go, oops, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm working on that still. I'm still a work in progress at 65. So the person that says, oh, I'm sorry about that, and sorry about this, and sorry about that. Now, if you look at someone and laugh at them because they have a new hairstyle or something, or their clothes, yeah, try not to laugh out loud. And if you do laugh out loud and say you're sorry and they don't know what you're laughing at, think fast of something and say, oh, something happened funny this morning, because you don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. So, again, just be careful when you laugh and then say, I'm sorry, because I don't want to be laughed at. And I'm sure people laugh at me all the time, but Or how about when you bump into someone at the store or get in front of someone and you don't realize it? Yeah, you probably should say you're sorry, but you don't have to say you're sorry. All you have to say, excuse me, I didn't know this was not the end of the line. And just walk back. I did not know. You don't want to apologize for everything. So, oh, excuse me, I didn't know this was the end of the line. I'm going to move on back. Sometimes they'll just say, oh, you're fine. Just stay there. Or about waiting for an hour for someone and they don't say anything. Honestly, they should apologize. But what if it's roles are reversed? You're late, and let's say you're late for a meeting or something, or you can run in, I'm so sorry. Oh, let me just tell you what happened. Da, 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 da. No, you just go in there and say, thank you for waiting on me. Traffic was a mess. End of it. That's it. You've thank them for waiting on you, and you've already told them why you were late. But you don't need to go into full discussion like you left the straightener on and you had to go back home or you forgot to feed the dog. Just make it short. We can do so many different kind of things in our life without saying, oh, sorry. So, here's an example. Once my granddaughter, who is 3, I said I was sorry for something because I either spoke too fast or, oh, surprise, or she didn't understand. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. And she looked at me and she said, Etha, why are you saying you're sorry? You didn't hurt me. And I mean, that's true. I didn't hurt her. It's just a habit. It's just a really bad habit. And I am working on it. So as far as apologizing, that's something we all do, I think. Some people, and those that really need to say they're sorry for certain things, never do. Now, if you have family or friends that are always asking for favors and you don't want to let them down, so what do? This is where you get to use your voice and say, no, I can't help you. Or no, I can't do that day. Because some people will plan something and say, hey, this is the day. And planning a party. Okay, what day is best? Is this Friday better for you or next Friday? Well, you have half say next Friday and the other half this Friday. The important thing is what works for you. We are people too. So we need to be able to please ourselves because we're people and we need to please ourselves. What's convenient, especially if you're hosting, make it at your convenience. Not everyone will be able to come to your gathering, but the majority will. And if not, guess what? You can have another one or they can have one. But we have to always make sure to be able to say no. We can't. I have a podcast and it's Learn to Say No. And in this podcast, it's basically just being able to tell people, no, you can't. If you say, no, I don't want to, then they get people. It's just human nature. They'll go, why? Why don't you want to do it? Because I don't want to do it. That's why. I just don't want to. And, they want an answer. So it's just best to say, no, I can't do it that day, or I'm not available. Let me check my calendar. And if you cannot say no, again, my go-to is like, oh, well, let me get home and talk to my husband, or let me get home and check on my calendar. Well, wait, you've got your calendar on your phone. Oh, I don't use it for everything. I've written one old school because I do that too. But you don't have to tell them no if you're not that comfortable, and get back with them. You can send them a text. You can call them. It's just easier, but don't always feel like you need to fulfill someone else's plans when it's not going to work for you. Some people just cannot say no face to face. So if it's easier to do it in text, that's fine. But you don't need to apologize. You just need to say, I can't make it. Well, why can't you make it? Oh, I have something else. Honestly, it's no one's business what you got going. You could be having an affair and you just don't want them to know. No, I'm just kidding. I hope no one's doing that. But money. How about money? When people ask you for money, we all need it to survive, right? But if you've ever been in that low cash flow where you can barely make ends meet, you know what they're talking about. But when you have someone who always asks for a small loan just to help them out for a week, and you do, and you never see that small loan again. That, fool me once, shame on you. fool me twice, shame on me thing. But if you don't, you know, you can't help them, then you can't. And just say, no, I just can't help you this time. And that can be family or friends. Don't go selling stuff just to help people out. Especially, have you ever had someone who you obviously is living beyond their means and they're always broke? They are always broke. They can have the big fancy house, big fancy car, big fancy clothes, big fancy shoes, but they're always broke. Hey, can you lend me $1? Hey, can you lend me? Hey, can you buy my lunch and then I'll buy yours next week? And next week never comes. Just learn to say, hey, you know what? I was about to ask you for a loan, and put them on the spot. They were like, whoa, what? Of course, they might get nosy and say, so you're having problems financially? No, I'm fine. You're the one with problems because you're asking me for money. And then you say, no, I'm just kidding. But right now, I can't loan you any money. Some people actually will get mad at you when you can't loan them money, which is crazy, but they do. But learn to know you don't have to take care of the world, take care of all your family, all your friends when it comes to money. We are adults, and that's where we use our voice and be honest. I can't because I'm about to, it's the end of the month. My rent's due, or my house payment, my car payment. Just, again, you really don't owe them an explanation other than say, no, I can't help you. But don't apologize because you can't help them. Just tell them you can't. I know it sounds easy, right? And I know it's not. But people take advantage of people who are always trying to be a people pleaser or a kind person. And I hate that. I hope that I have never done that in my life, but who knows? We change from our 20s into our older ages. But now, how do we handle a family member? Because that is kind of hard to tell a family member no. That's always asking for money. Or let's say you just, not even money. Let's say a family member, you always got to eat and they want to split the bill when they had the steak and you had a salad. No, just say, no, I'll do separate checks. Do not hesitate. Oh, well, we can split it. No, I just had a salad. Point it out to them. I just had a salad and water. You had a steak and 2 cocktails. Just say no. It's okay. You don't have to do that. And I know it is hard, but the sooner we can do that, the easier it is. Just not to be pleasing with that person all the time. And then the person who always picks the restaurant, oh, well, I want to go here. I want Mexican, or I want Chinese, or Thai. And yes, I love all those foods. But they obviously know you have diverticulitis or you have some sort of stomach issues, and they always pick these spicy places. Just say no. Just say, no, I really don't want to go. But we always go there. I know, but, I don't really want to go there. Why? Because, I have these stomach issues. Sometimes people tend to forget these things, and they may say, why didn't you tell me? And then you say, because you knew. I just thought we'd go for you. So I'll start picking the restaurants. And if they don't want to go with you anymore, well, guess what? That's fine. You don't have to worry about taking your Rolaids or Tums with you then. So don't be afraid to disagree. But when you do disagree on a restaurant, give them the reasons. Or vacation. How about if you vacation with family or friends? And let's say somebody wants to go to a resort and where they want to go at spring break when it's crazy. And say, no, I'd rather go after spring break. Tell them why. Oh, but we can get a really good deal. I don't want to go when there's a bunch of, college kids there. I want to go and relax. Don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to speak your mind. Again, we do not need to be people pleasers. Learn to be a people pleaser for yourself. Now, I'm not saying become selfish, but be selfless. Selfless where you will help people and be kind to people. Don't be the selfish person that takes advantage of picking the restaurant, picking the vacation, asking for money. Don't be that person. But you know what? If you're listening to this podcast, I know that you are not, because I believe that most of our listeners are good-hearted people. And the good-hearted people sometimes are taken advantage because we are people pleasers. We don't mean to be. Then this may even trigger something in your head and your heart and say, oh, Henrie's right. I am always trying to please everyone by saying, I'm sorry. Yes, I'll pay for it. Yes, I'll give you the gas money. Again, you know, that's not mean. And you're not going to lose friends and family for being honest, but you just don't want people to take advantage of you. Now, I don't think that's a depressing, I don't think this was a depressing podcast. I think it's an eye opener, I hope, for some. And I hope, again, someone asked me about Ticket to Life. What do you talk about Ticket to Life? And my answer to that was life. We have so many issues in our world. We have life issues. We are going through so many things right now in the world, but we always have life. Someone somewhere out there has experienced heartache like you have, has experienced being broke like I have been, I always talk about being broke because that was a really big learning time for me in my 20s. And I survived. That is a survival. We survive. So life is so full of wonderful things. And talking about love and marriage and kids. But yet, unfortunately, there is some downfall to a lot of this too. So just remember, you're never alone in any issue, in anything. And thank you for listening to Ticket to Life. I appreciate each and every single one of you. If I could, I would send you a card. I would say I can say I love you. I do love my listeners. I love that people take the time and make time for me to listen. Listen to what I have to say. You don't have to agree with me because totally everyone is entitled to their own opinion. But just thanking you again because I cannot believe that without you, the listeners, Ticket to Life would not exist. So thank you for listening. Try not to be a people pleaser and go find your blessings. Until next week, this is Henrie. Take care.